The war had begun long before anyone remembered. Entire systems burned, and across the void, fleets of alien civilizations clashed with relentless fury. Yet humanity, though thought extinct by most, had endured in silence. Hidden colonies scattered across uncharted space had preserved knowledge, weapons, and memories of Earth. And now, the survivors were returning, not just as soldiers, but as legends made flesh, carrying the weight of their ancestors. Commander Ilara Voss stood on the bridge of the Spectre Vanguard, her eyes scanning the holographic display of approaching enemy fleets. Unlike most commanders, she was not intimidated by the overwhelming numbers. Humanity's strength did not lie solely in their ships, but in their spirit. Behind her, the crew moved with quiet efficiency, each knowing that they were not alone in the battle to come. Ilara activated the Ancestral Memory Interface, a device that linked the consciousness of living humans with the echoes of those who had fought and died for Earth. Across the bridge, shimmering specters of past heroes appeared, soldiers, pilots, strategists, and leaders, each a memory-given form, ready to fight beside the living. They were ghosts, but their presence was tangible, their experience invaluable. Lieutenant Jaren Thorne, her second-in-command, leaned close. "Commander. The enemy fleet is vast. Thousands of vessels. Even with the specters." Ilara's eyes hardened. "Even with the specters, Jaren. Every human who died believing in Earth is here with us now. Their knowledge, their courage, their strategies, they will guide us. We are not alone. And the enemy will soon learn that ghosts do not tire, and they do not forget." Across the void, alien scouts detected the first glimpses of the Spectre Vanguard and its supporting vessels. Sensors interpreted the strange readings as energy anomalies, echoes of long-dead systems, but the truth was far more profound. Humanity had learned to carry its past into the present, to let the memory of those who fought and died guide the living in the battles yet to come. Ilara's hand hovered over the command console. She did not need to give orders. The ghosts moved with the precision of experience, guiding the fleet, predicting enemy maneuvers, and supplementing the instincts of the living crew. Humanity had not returned merely to fight, they had returned to remind the galaxy that the dead were never truly gone when their cause endured, and in that moment, as the first shots of the approaching alien fleet glimmered in the distance, the combined force of living humans and spectral warriors prepared to strike, a testament to endurance, memory, and the indomitable spirit of a species that refused to be forgotten. The stars themselves seemed to shimmer faintly, as if acknowledging that the ghosts of humanity were marching once more. And that the living would not fight alone. The void was alive with the hum of approaching war. Thousands of alien warships glimmered like deadly constellations, their engines blazing, weapons primed for destruction. Yet the Spectre Vanguard and its supporting fleet moved with uncanny precision, guided by forces unseen but deeply felt. Humanity's dead were not merely memories, they were active participants, whispering strategies, warning of enemy traps, and enhancing reflexes of the living crew. Commander Ilara Voss stood at the helm, eyes calm, voice steady. "Deploy the spectral matrix. Ghosts, take point on the forward scouting lines. Let the enemy think they face us alone, then guide our strikes where they least expect." Across the bridge, ghostly figures shimmered into being, pilots who had flown Earth's first interstellar cruisers, tacticians who had died defending colony worlds, warriors who had sacrificed everything. Each spectre carried centuries of knowledge, appearing ethereal but tangible, their eyes glowing faintly as they linked directly with the living crew's neural systems. Lieutenant Jaren Thorne activated the comms, voice tense but awed. "Commander. Their formations are shifting. They're reacting to our maneuvers before we even give orders." Ilara's lips curved slightly. "Exactly. Ghosts anticipate. They predict. They remember. Humanity has not only returned, we have returned with every soldier who ever believed in Earth." Sensors picked up the first volleys from the alien fleet, missile swarms streaking toward the human formation. But the Spectre Vanguard danced between the attacks with preternatural precision, ghostly pilots guiding thrusters and shields to intercept every threat. The missiles exploded harmlessly in the vacuum, the fleet's blue lights reflecting off the shimmering spectral forms, creating the illusion of an almost supernatural defense. "Ghosts, focus on the enemy's flank," Elara commanded. "Guide the fighters, disrupt their formations, and make them scatter." From the shadows of history, spectral war heroes whispered tactics to the living pilots. Fighters twisted through the void with impossible agility, coordinated with a precision no living mind alone could achieve. Alien warships found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn, their formations unraveling as if an unseen hand was controlling the battle. One of the alien admirals, observing the chaos, barked orders. "Deploy concentrated fire. Do not let them escape." But the humans, guided by centuries of experience carried in spectral form, anticipated every attack. Shields flared, engines darted unpredictably, and counterstrikes tore through the enemy lines before they could regroup. Every strike was not just a display of military might, but a dance choreographed by the living and the dead together, a symphony of survival and remembrance. Elara felt the pull of the ancestors within her mind. Their voices were calm, precise, and unwavering. "Lead them into the nebula," one whispered. "There, their sensors will fail, their formations collapse. You do not fight alone." She nodded and transmitted the order. The fleet veered into a dense nebula, ghost-assisted maneuvers slicing through the fog of particles and ionized gas. Alien ships, confused and uncoordinated without their usual sensor data, collided with one another, broke formation, and fell prey to coordinated strikes from humans. The living crew followed instinctively, guided by the spectral whispers, their actions synchronized perfectly with the ghosts. By the time the first battle ended, the alien fleet had been routed without the humans losing a single vessel. The stars, once witnesses to endless carnage, now observed a new kind of warfare, one where memory, honor, and spectral guidance turned the tide of battle. Elara looked at her crew, pride and determination in her eyes. "This is only the beginning. Humanity fights with every ghost who ever believed in Earth. We will not fall. We will endure. And the galaxy will remember our name." The void was quiet for a moment, save for the soft hum of engines and the ethereal glow of the ghosts. The battle had been won, but more importantly, a message had been sent: humanity fights not alone, and its dead remain its greatest allies. The void stretched endlessly, but humanity's presence carved a path of precision and inevitability. The Spectre vanguard led the fleet, spectral figures shimmering around the command bridge, their whispers blending with the hum of engines and tactical consoles. Every maneuver, every strike, every calculated retreat was guided not just by living commanders but by the centuries of knowledge embodied in the ghosts who had fought and died for Earth. Commander Elara Voss studied the projections of the next target system. Alien fleets lay waiting, sprawling across several star clusters, confident in their numerical advantage. Yet confidence was a fragile thing against a force that fought with the wisdom of both living and dead. "Ghosts, prepare the advance," Elara commanded. "We move with history in our bones and strategy in our minds. Let them feel our presence before they even see us." Across the fleet, pilots felt subtle nudges in their instincts, suggestions that were almost imperceptible yet undeniable. A ghostly hand guided a fighter through an asteroid belt, avoiding ambushes that sensors had not yet detected. Another whispered strategies for flanking a cruiser formation, exploiting weaknesses known only from battles long past. The dead were alive in the decisions of the living, and the living acted with the precision of a united species spanning centuries. Lieutenant Jaren Thorne reported the first engagement in the new system. "Commander. Enemy ships are retreating from strategic points. They are hesitating. They've never faced an opponent like this. Their captains are confused, morale is faltering." Elara nodded, her voice calm but resolute. "Exactly. War is more than numbers, it is perception, confidence, and fear. They do not understand that humanity does not fight alone. Every dead who ever defended our homeworld fights with us now. Let them feel it, and they will falter before our fleets even fire. Across the enemy fleets, alien commanders transmitted frantic orders, trying to adapt to maneuvers they could not anticipate. Systems that were once impenetrable were outflanked, coordinated attacks failed. And scattered alien units collided under miscommunication. The whispers of human ghosts guided every tactical decision on the side of the living, making the impossible routine. Prepare the long-range strikes, Elara said, gesturing toward the holographic star map. Ghosts, guide the targeting. Let our actions be swift, precise, and unavoidable. They will understand the consequences of underestimating humanity. The first volleys of plasma and energy disrupted the enemy's formation, each strike perfectly timed to coincide with evasive maneuvers suggested by the spectral warriors. Alien fleets struggled to respond, their panic increasing as their most trusted strategies failed repeatedly. Psychological domination became as real as physical destruction. The knowledge that humanity's dead fought alongside the living instilled fear and awe simultaneously. In the observation decks of hidden human colonies, children, scientists, and veterans alike watched in amazement. Systems once thought lost to the enemy were now being reclaimed without a single human casualty. The legacy of Earth, carried in the bones and memories of the fallen, was asserting itself across the galaxy. Elara's eyes scanned the void, calm but intense. We are the memory of every world lost, every soldier fallen, every battle fought. Our ghosts fight beside us, and they will never abandon Earth or its people. Humanity will endure, and the galaxy will learn to respect that power, not just the force of our weapons, but the weight of our history and the certainty of our survival. By the time the fleet reached the edge of the system, enemy resistance had fractured. Alien captains sent repeated messages of surrender, negotiation, and inquiry. The psychological impact of ghost-assisted tactics had begun to change the strategic landscape of the war. Humanity did not merely win battles, they reshaped the perception of conflict itself. The stars above shimmered faintly, as if bearing witness to this unique alliance of the living and the dead. Across the void, a singular message became clear: humanity fights with more than strength, it fights with memory. With legacy, and with the ghosts of those who never truly left. And in that moment, Commander Elara Voss understood the true power of her species. They were not alone in war, never had been, and never would be. As long as the dead could guide the living toward victory, the enemy system sprawled across the void, massive star clusters fortified with orbital defenses, planetary gun emplacements, and fleets poised for annihilation. Yet the Spectre vanguard and its accompanying fleet moved with the patience and precision of centuries of combined experience, living and spectral. Every action, every maneuver, every strike was guided by the whispers of those who had died defending Earth. Their knowledge a weapon more lethal than any plasma cannon, Commander Elara Voss studied the holographic display, noting the weak points in the enemy's layered defenses. Ghosts, she said, voice steady, guide the assault. Focus on their supply chains, disrupt command structures, and allow our living crews to exploit every opening. Let them know that humanity is not merely surviving, we are mastering the battlefield with memory itself as our ally. Ghostly figures shimmered around the bridge, some materializing as spectral pilots, others as faint silhouettes of commanders and strategists who had died in long-forgotten battles. Their guidance was subtle yet profound, a nod here, a whispered caution there, a premonition of enemy movements before they occurred. The living crew followed instinctively, executing maneuvers that seemed impossible for mortal minds alone. Alien admirals across the system noticed the first fractures. Systems designed to repel fleets without fail were breached. Supply lines were severed. Command hierarchies faltered as Spectres anticipated every defensive measure. Panic rippled through the alien ranks as their formations crumbled under invisible pressure. No human casualty had yet occurred, yet the enemy felt a sense of helplessness unprecedented in centuries of war. Lieutenant Jaron Thorne leaned close to Elara, voice barely above a whisper. Commander. Their leaders. They are losing cohesion. They've never seen tactics like this, like we're everywhere and nowhere at once. Elara's eyes narrowed. Exactly. They can't fight ghosts, Jaren. They can't calculate against experience that surpasses time. Every victory of the past lives again in the present, guiding us. Humanity's dead fight beside us, and they will not be ignored. The first major strike was coordinated by a combination of living pilots and spectral guidance. Alien cruisers were flanked in impossible formations, their missile barrages neutralized by ghost-guided evasive maneuvers, command hubs targeted precisely to disrupt coordination. Systems fell one by one. The alien fleets fractured into isolated pockets, and the psychological impact was devastating. The ghost's presence made the humans seem omnipresent, almost supernatural, and every alien officer realized that this was a force beyond conventional understanding. Reports flooded in, planetary outposts surrendered without firing, reconnaissance units reported enemy soldiers abandoning positions, awed or terrified by the coordinated strikes they could not comprehend. Entire fleets were retreating from sectors they once controlled, their morale shattered. Ilara addressed her fleet, calm, but commanding. We do not slaughter. We do not need to. We are the culmination of every sacrifice humanity has ever made. Every ghost who fought for Earth guides our actions. Our power is in our legacy, our unity, and our clarity. This is the strength that will reclaim our future. The climax of the engagement came when the core enemy flagship, a towering vessel bristling with weapons, attempted a desperate counterattack. Ghosts materialized around the Spectre vanguard and the human squadrons, guiding fighters through impossible trajectories, predicting the flagship's every move. With coordinated precision, the enemy vessel was forced into retreat, its systems crippled, and the alien commanders aboard sent frantic messages requesting negotiation rather than destruction. Across the void, the stars shimmered faintly, as if acknowledging the significance of the moment. Humanity, though numerically inferior, had achieved what no one thought possible, a major strategic victory without unnecessary bloodshed. Using the combined strength of the living and the dead, Ilara stood at the bridge, her eyes reflecting both the glow of distant stars and the ethereal presence of the ghosts around her. "The galaxy is remembering us," she whispered. "Our dead fight beside us. Our living will endure. And together, we are unstoppable." The alien commanders, shaken and awed, began to consider terms. The psychological and tactical dominance of humanity was now undeniable, and whispers of negotiation spread across multiple fleets. What had started as a battle had become a demonstration of authority, endurance, and the unmatched power of human memory made manifest. The void stretched vast and quiet, a canvas of deep space now illuminated by the soft glow of human and alien ships. The once mighty enemy fleets, fractured and demoralized, hovered in cautious formation. Commander Ilara Voss stood on the bridge of the Spectre vanguard, surrounded by shimmering specters of humanity's dead, their eyes glowing faintly with ethereal light, guiding every decision with centuries of experience. The alien commanders, including the leaders of the Crimson Pact, Zarati Dominion, Shard Coalition, and Obsidian Hegemony, transmitted hesitant messages of inquiry. Every officer knew that any false move could be disastrous, and every display of human precision reminded them that the dead of Earth were fighting beside the living. Ilara's voice cut through the void, calm and resolute. "You have seen what we are capable of, not through weapons alone, but through memory, endurance, and strategy. Humanity has survived what others thought impossible. We offer a choice: end this cycle of war, preserve your systems, and acknowledge the consequences of aggression, or continue and risk total annihilation." The silence that followed was almost tangible. Alien warlords conferred with one another through holographic communications, the tension thick enough to be felt across light years. Slowly, one by one, they began to signal compliance, recognizing that their fleets, no matter how numerous, could not overcome a species whose past and present fought as one. Ghostly figures drifted along the decks of the human ships, nodding faintly as their living counterparts relayed messages of surrender and negotiation. Every decision made by the aliens was anticipated and countered, not with force, but with foresight, and each countermove guided by the whispers of heroes long gone. Lieutenant Jaren Thorne turned to Ilara, awestruck. "Commander, They're submitting. They're actually submitting to us. Ilara's gaze swept across the void, calm but intense. Not to us, Jaren. To what humanity represents. Every life we've preserved, every sacrifice we've honored, every ghost who fights beside us, that is what commands respect. That is what ensures survival. Negotiations began in earnest. Across multiple channels, humans and aliens established neutral zones, agreements for the protection of civilians, and protocols to prevent accidental conflict. Plans were drafted for trade, communication, and shared observation posts, and slowly, the fragile beginnings of peace spread across previously hostile systems. Humanity's dead, guiding the living, had rewritten the rules of warfare and diplomacy. The final act came when the alien flagship of the Zarati Dominion approached the Spectre Vanguard. Weapons offline, shields raised in cautious trust. On its deck, the Admiral transmitted a message directly to Ilara. Commander Voss. Your species. Your people. We underestimated you. We acknowledge your victories, your strategies, and the spirits that fight alongside you. We agree to your terms and request further dialogue for lasting peace. Ilara allowed herself a small, measured smile. Then let this be the beginning of a new era. Humanity fights not for conquest, but for survival, remembrance, and the hope that the galaxy can endure alongside us. Across the void, ships of multiple civilizations maneuvered carefully, respecting the boundaries of truce. The ghosts of humanity shimmered, fading slightly as their duty was honored, yet their presence remained, a reminder of endurance and sacrifice. Living humans saluted their ancestors, feeling the weight and pride of every soul that had fought for Earth. In the quiet aftermath, stars shimmered faintly, as if acknowledging the courage, strategy, and moral clarity that had reshaped the galaxy. Humanity had survived, not through sheer force, but through memory, wisdom, and unity across generations. The dead had fought beside the living, and the living had proven that no enemy, no matter how powerful, could match the enduring spirit of a species that refused to be forgotten. Commander Ilara Voss looked at her crew and the ghosts surrounding them. We carry Earth in our bones, she whispered. And now, the galaxy remembers that humanity will always endure. And in that moment, the void was no longer a battlefield. It was a testament: humanity survives, its ghosts fight beside it, and the stars will never forget. The battlefield had transformed from chaos to tense anticipation. Across countless star systems, alien fleets held in uncertain formation, their weapons offline, shields flickering, as if the universe itself was waiting. The Spectre Vanguard stood at the heart of the human formation, its hull shimmering with faint ghostly light, a beacon of endurance, strategy, and the undying spirit of Earth. Commander Ilara Voss stood on the bridge, surrounded by spectral figures of humanity's ancestors. Their translucent forms hovered alongside living crew members, guiding, whispering, and lending centuries of battle experience to every decision. The ghosts were calm, commanding, and unwavering, their presence transforming strategy into an almost supernatural force. Ilara activated the interfleet comms. Her voice echoed across the void, steady and resolute: leaders of the galaxy, the war you wage serves no one. Countless lives have been lost to pride, to greed, and to blind ambition. Humanity has survived extinction because we honor the past, learn from it, and fight with clarity. Your fleets may be vast, but our unity, living and dead, is absolute. The choice is yours: end this cycle of destruction, or risk total annihilation. A long silence followed. Alien warlords conferred, their ships trembling subtly under the pressure of centuries of human strategy now guiding every move. Finally, the flagship of the Zarati Dominion transmitted a message: Commander Voss. Your species. We acknowledge your victory, your wisdom, and the presence of those who fight beside you. We agree to a truce and request further dialogue for lasting peace. Ilara allowed a faint smile. This is not conquest. This is survival. This is remembrance. Let all of you witness what it means to fight with memory, with honor, and with unity across generations. One by one, alien fleets powered down weapons, maneuvered into neutral zones, and began formal communications. Entire systems once threatened by war were preserved. Ghosts of humanity shimmered softly as they guided the humans through the final stages of negotiation, then slowly faded, their duty honored. Yet their presence remained in the memory of every living human, a reminder that no one truly fights alone. Lieutenant Jaren Thorne looked at Alara in awe. "Commander. We've done it. They're listening. The galaxy. It's changed." Alara gazed at the stars beyond the viewport, the remnants of countless battles glowing faintly among nebulae and distant suns. "Yes, Jaren. Humanity endures. Our ghosts fight beside us, and now the galaxy remembers. Not our power alone, but our history, our unity, our spirit. That is what no one can ever take from us." Across the void, the stars seemed to shimmer, reflecting the quiet majesty of this triumph. The war had ended, not through sheer force, but through the moral and strategic authority of a species that had survived extinction, carried in memory, wisdom, and spectral presence. Humanity had returned. The living had fought alongside the dead. Alien civilizations had learned that the enduring spirit of one planet could reshape the course of the galaxy. And as the Spectre Vanguard led its fleet onward, Commander Alara Voss whispered to the stars. "A promise to the ancestors who had never truly left, we carry Earth in our bones. And we will endure forever." The void was silent, but it was not empty. Humanity, alive and eternal, had carved its place among the stars. The ghosts had fought beside them, and the galaxy would never forget.